GMGP, good morning, good people. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all decided to wake up with us. You're sick. You're sick in the head. There's a lot of fantasy football shows out there, but I promise y'all, they not like us. Brock Bowers, you looked a little quicker than fast. What does that even mean? Redraft, Dynasty, best ball, high stakes, we got you covered.
And that's MVS and Justin Watson.
With some of the dopest tools designed to help you cancel out the noise and dominate your leagues. If there's a white wide receiver named Antoine, sign me up. Maybe it's cultural. I don't know. In season or off season, rain, sleet, hail, and snow, comma, semicolon, period, next sentence, to bring you the most actionable and entertaining content on YouTube. You don't go buy the dip on the Titanic.
Quarterback that you love, D-Bro. One of the best values in fantasy football.
Prop bets with my man Jay Rich.
Is that
Yes! Let's go!
So wipe the crust out of your eye, get you a cup of coffee. It's time to wake y'all asses up with Ray
and Jay
in the morning.
My God.
How good is
Dude.
he? How good is he? Let's get it, GMGP. It is Monday, July 7th, 2025. Y'all decided to wake y'all asses up with myself and my brother from another mother. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Jordan Richards. You can find him on X. You got to follow my dog. Follow Jay Rich on X, at your boy, Jay Rich. We appreciate each and every eye, each and every ear in the building. It's going to be a big Monday. It's going to be a big Monday, Jay Rich. We got a lot going on. We got to talk some 2026. Got to talk some top running backs. We're going through breakout offensive players in the AFC today. And we got the good people in the chat, man. I already see folks talking. I favorited this one, Jay Rich. It's no GMGP to start. Alex is in the chat talking shit. CFB 26 releases this week. Everybody getting the sticks. Alex, come get at me. Ray GQ.
Today, Ray.
PS5. Listen, I don't have early access. I don't need early. I get it when the general public gets it, Jay Rich. But y'all can come get it at Ray GQ, PS5. Let's go. CFB 26 releases. I'm excited. Might do some streams with you, Jay Rich. We might just stream some CFB 26, but I'm glad the people are in the building this morning. I see Alex in the building, Tyjae Claire, Daniel, Vince in the building, Garrison. Let's go. We have football this month. Hell yeah. We only got 9 more Sundays. 9 more Sundays, and we're back, Jay Rich. We're back. NFL. We got football. I'm excited. Dynasty Rehab in the building. What's happening with you, Dynasty? Kelly Poole in the building. GM. You got to give me that GP, Kelly. You got to give me that GP. And the show doesn't start till when, Jay Rich? The show doesn't start till when?
in the building.
Jorge from Rhode Island is in the building. What's popping with you, Jorge? Moggs in the building. Boyan, Patrick Price, Cold World TDE, Jimbo, 903 on the dot. It was a push. They take bets when we start the show, and it was a push today, so everybody gets their money back. On a serious note, Jay, I live out here right outside of Dallas, Texas, and if you have not seen the news, I don't know how you could have missed it. Some devastating floods took the lives of a lot of people in Hill Country, Texas, in Central Texas, Kerrville County. And I just want to say, you know, as we start this show to my fellow Texans, first responders, Coast Guard, all the people trying to help down there, just prayers up. It's absolutely, I don't know if y'all have seen how quickly the floodwaters and the flash flood stuff rose. I mean, it's not time lapse, man. It happened real fast. And to hear the stories about kids waking up at a camp and floating it's terrifying, man. So, you know, we have a good time on this show. We try to acknowledge real life stuff that's happening, that's impacting everybody. We don't get into the politics and the political side of things. But real life stuff like this, like I just gotta acknowledge that, whether, you know, it was Texas or Canada or somewhere else, just awful stuff happening down there. So prayers up for everybody in the Hill Country, in Kerrville County, down there in Texas that is going through that, and all the people that reached out and showed support to help those folks down there. Just heartbreaking to see that kind of stuff. So we get in the show, we keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And if anybody out there is watching from Central Texas, from Hill County, from Kerrville, from Hill Country, from Kerrville, much love. We love you. We're thinking about you, and we're praying for you on this show. Jay Rich, in case people missed some content, you had a special guest appearance on a show this weekend, didn't you, Jay? You were a special guest appearance on the Dynasty Deal show. Jay Rich was on with Tyjae Claire and Shane. Scott is out right now. Has some family stuff going on. Prayers to him. He's going to be good, and he'll be back soon. but they had the fill-in. Jay Rich on with Shane and Ty talking some Dynasty trades. It is not released to the public yet. Got to be a member over on DDFFB. But Jay Rich, how was your debut?
It was good. It was late, Ray. You know, we do our shows in the morning. We were recording the show 9 o'clock. I'm trying to chill, relax. I'm like, oh, damn, I got to go on this show again. But it was fun, though. It was fun. I haven't been on DDFFB in a long time. It was good to fill in for Scott. I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys all check it out. It's going to be released on the channel officially to the public on Tuesday. And I think we had a lot of valuable information in there. So go check it out. Make sure you become a member. But it was fun, right? It was fun. It's been a while since I talked to the boys, but it was a good time.
You're good. Other content that you may have missed, All Gas Trade Show, Todd Claire, and an old friend of the show did the Overreaction podcast, Cody Smith. They were on talking trades and free custom projections. I mean, who doesn't want free projections? There you go. Make sure you check out the All Gas Trade Show. And Jay Rich, the 2026 Summer Scouting rolls on, and we got a lot more lined up for the good people this week. But I did drop on the 4th of July, on Friday, Lenore Sellers, quarterback out of South Carolina. You know, working through this class, Jay, you try to do these prospect profile videos very just objective, and you're not trying to compare Sellers to this guy or that guy, but I've watched like the big 5 quarterbacks. I've watched Sellers, I've watched Alar, I've watched Clubnik, I've watched Garrett Nusmeier, I've watched some Sam Levitt as I was going through Jordan Tyson film, and I've got an early take on my QB ranks. I do have an early.
Okay.
I've got an early leader for QB1. If I were to say right now, I had to pick a quarterback that was eligible for the 26th draft to be QB1, it would be. It's a tough call, but I think it is Cade Clubnik, man. Watching the tape,
really,
I do think it's Cade Clubnik. I really do. I really, really do. There wasn't a lot of throws that I just saw like, oh my God, that was the best throw I've ever seen. But he makes good decisions. He's experienced. He can run the ball. You want to see him put on a little more size. He's not that big. But if I had to pick one right now going into the season, it'd probably be Cade Clubnik. Probably Clubnik.
Okay.
I didn't think I would feel that way after watching them. I thought I was 10 toes down. It's going to be Nusmeier. I think it's Cade Clubnik. If I had to pick one, almost 4,000 passes, 3,600 passing yards, 36 touchdowns to only 6-7 interceptions. I think it's Cade. If I had to say it right now, it's Cade.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be able to have a chance to prove it this year, right? They're going to have a very strong defense. And people who don't know the stream of content that's coming out, tomorrow should be Nusmeier, and I believe Clubnik should be scheduled for Thursday. So you'll see how Ray feels about Sellers, Clubnik, and Nusmeier through this week. So if you haven't watched Sellers' video, go watch that. Nusmeier will be tomorrow, and Clubnik will be on Thursday once I get to those videos. But they're already recorded, ready to go, and they should be released very, very soon. But
wide receiver class is good too. I'm just saying this. A lot of people dogging out the receivers early because they don't know the names. It's good. I mean, I've gone through the first.
I saw you tweet about Tyson. What's your comp for Tyson? Like, how do you feel about him? Where's he at right now?
So let me say this. I saw a big name analyst compare his collegiate game to JSN, which I thought was kind of fair. He plays
bigger than JSN?
They're around the same size. He plays exactly like Amon-Ra St. Brown at USC. That's exactly who he looks like. I'm watching him. I'm like, oh, that looks not all pro wide receiver in the NFL, but just as a college player, he plays just like Amon-Ra. He looks just like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He plays like you watch him and then you put up a clip of Amon-Ra from USC, you'll think they're the same guy. You think they're the same player. I mean, between him, Antonio Williams out of Clemson, and Carnell Tate, the problem with Tate is he's overshadowed by Jeremiah Smith. It's just that's how good can he be with Jeremiah Smith there? That's going to be the biggest issue, but Carnell Tate is dope. Jordan Tyson's the real deal. He is the real damn deal from Arizona State. Real deal. So that's dropping maybe Saturday or Sunday. It's already recorded. Antonio Williams next. And then we'll just keep the summer scouting train rolling. So make sure you check out the videos on the channel. Sellers, Jeremiah Love is up. Nicholas Singleton tomorrow. Garrett Nusmeier. So we're just rolling as we go into the college football season. Excited about it. Jay, not a lot of news today. Jay Rich, not a lot of news. I've got one piece of news that should make you and a lot of people feel very old. It made me feel incredibly old, and I'm not. You know, look at this skin. I'm young. I am youthful. Jay Rich, my knees and Achilles tendon is shot, but I'm a youthful gent over here. Yeah, that barely intact, Jay Rich. But there was a little something that was posted this weekend, Jay Rich, that made me feel a little old. And it's right here. And it's in the spirit and the realm of college football. But Notre Dame's 2026 recruiting class now includes Devin Fitzgerald, son of Larry Fitzgerald, Thomas Davis Jr., son of Carolina Panthers legend Thomas Davis, and Caden Finley, the son of Jermichael Finley. Jay, it is starting to hit me now that, damn, Ray, you're getting old, man. These are guys, I remember watching Larry Fitzgerald sit in the front row in New York for the Heisman ceremony. Like, I remember him at Pitt sitting. Now his damn son's going to play at Notre Dame. Jermichael Finley coming out of Texas. I thought that was going to be Aaron Rodgers' boy. Think about that. That was supposed to be Aaron Rodgers' boy. Now his boy is in college, and Aaron Rodgers is still playing for the Steelers. And then you got Thomas Davis' son. Jay Rich, I feel old as hell, man. I feel old as hell.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Freeman loading up on these former NFL sons out here. Are any of them any good? I think, was it Finley who's a 4-star receiver?
Uh-huh.
I didn't see anything about Fitzgerald's son or Thomas Davis' son, though, but I'm pretty sure Caden Finley, also Jermichael. Sick name. I like Caden Finley. That's,
you like that, Caden?
That's an NFL name if I've ever heard of one. I like
Caden
that.
Finley?
But yeah. Hadn't heard about Devin Fitzgerald or Thomas Davis.
Patrick said, once I started seeing grandchildren of the players I've watched,
and then isn't T.Y. Hilton's son already in college?
I think T.Y.
Hilton going to college?
There's a bunch of them already there. I mean, we got Marvin Harrison Jr. in the NFL right now, which we'll talk about later. Cold World TD said, I'm turning 37 in October. It's a blessing, baby. It's a blessing. Don't worry about it, Cold World. I'll be 39 in September. Jay Rich, how old are you turning? 32?
32, yeah.
32. Look at that. I know my peoples, man. I know my peoples. All right. We got a lot to talk about today, Jay. We are going through the AFC breakout offensive stars for each team for 2025. Now, some of these stars may have had a little light in the past, but it dimmed somehow. So we are reviving these players, right? They're going to break back out. Maybe some of them break back out. Some of them just break out here in the 2025 season. And we're talking for fantasy football, right? Fantasy football breakout. Jay Rich, we're going to start with the AFC East. Can we start with the AFC East?
Absolutely.
All right, let's start with the AFC East. Jay Rich, who do we have? The Buffalo Bills. We're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. Breakout star for 2025 will be
Khalil Shakir, Ray.
There it is.
It's surprising because when we were putting this list together, you put Shakir's name in there.
I did.
And I didn't think you liked him too much. I thought that you thought he sucked.
Whoa.
He couldn't be a good receiver in the NFL.
Whoa.
And when I pumped him up last summer, he said,
so
I don't know, Khalil Shakir. I'm not so sure about that one, Jay Rich. Think that's a bad pick. Probably shouldn't draft him in best ball. Then he went out and had 76 receptions for 821 yards and 4 touchdowns. And he still has Josh Allen as his quarterback. And I think he's probably got even higher upside in year 2, which would be another breakout for him this season. But I am surprised you didn't go Keon Coleman here. Because if there was a player to really break out on the Buffalo Bills, it's probably Keon Coleman based off what he did last year relative to what he could do this season. But you went with Khalil Shakir as the breakout. Tell the people why you think he can get to maybe a 100 reception, 1,100 yard season this year in this Buffalo offense.
Well, I didn't know we were going to do this. I didn't know we were going to start throwing out who put what name where and disagreeing with the first name. But that's okay. Since you set the parameters of this show, this is going to be an interesting one because as we go, I will make sure to point out the ones I didn't agree with from you. So look, now that the tables are set and the foundation is laid, he's going to be Josh Allen's primary target earner. He is going to be his number one option, not Keon Coleman. He operates in that slot where we've seen players have great deals of success in Buffalo's offense. They paid him right away. This was a priority signing to get Khalil Shakir under contract so they didn't have to worry about it. And the usage towards the back half of the season, this is one where if Allen is going to find and hyper-target a one, Josh Palmer is there, right? We got Josh Palmer in the building now. I think Curtis Samuel is still there to some degree, but they lost Mac Hollins. Jay Rich, he's going to go out there and take targets in New England. This is a pretty easy one. It's Khalil Shakir for me. I am, especially in PPR formats, give me all the Shakir, man.
No, I like it, right? He's going to be the primary target. And honestly, even back when we were doing that best ball draft and I was talking about Shakir, the reasoning behind it was always rooted in the slot receiver for Josh Allen has continued to be successful regardless of whether Josh Allen was good or bad. And it's all the way back to Cole Beasley when he was a 100 target guy for 3 consecutive seasons, whether Josh Allen was good or bad. So I think it's just a role that's always been great under Josh Allen, and whether it's been Brian Daboll as the OC or someone else, they've continued to thrive, whoever's maintained that slot role. Shakir has that slot role this season and will probably be good once again in 2025.
All right, let's keep it moving. We're taking too long. Next up, Miami. Who we got?
The Miami Dolphins, Ray, are a tough one. And this is my selection.
I don't hate it. I was going to put Tyreek on there. I was going to put Tyreek as breaking out in 2025. But you've got Jaylen Waddle. Jay Rich, you got Jaylen Waddle re-breaking out in Miami in 2025. Talk about it.
So the problem for Miami, right? You could say Devon Achane if you want, but after what's been going on with him, he's kind of rising up boards. I just didn't feel like it made sense to put him as the breakout for the Dolphins.
I like
Tyreek Hill's already the wide receiver 1, and wide receiver 3 doesn't exist in Miami. Over the past 3 seasons under Mike McDaniel, the wide receiver 3 hasn't seen more than 52 targets, and over the past 2 seasons, they haven't had more than 40 targets. Yes, Jonnu Smith is gone, Darren Waller is in, but we don't expect that to be a very impactful role. And so now you're looking at a situation where Jaylen Waddle, coming off 2 down seasons relative to his peak back in 2022, could have every opportunity to once again reclaim that role as a 1,300-yard receiver. And Ray, with everything we've seen from Tyreek Hill, I'm not going to say it's likely, but it's also not impossible if Waddle were to become the number 1 target in this Miami Dolphins offense. It just seems very, very unlikely to happen, but I think that Waddle can do it, has the ability to do it overall. And that's why Waddle for me is the breakout pick on this offense.
I did add just one honorable mention I wanted to throw in there. I did put Jaylen Wright as an offensive breakout candidate for the Miami Dolphins. They've always deployed 2 running backs. Even when Achane was balling out, Raheem Mostert was there. There is no Raheem Mostert. They drafted him, I believe, in the 3rd round last year, 3rd or 4th round for Jaylen Wright out of Tennessee. He's a big body. He's got good size. He's got great speed. I don't hate the Waddle call. I literally was going to put Tyreek Hill. Like, we're about to see the rebirth of Tyreek Hill from a couple of years ago. But I don't hate Jaylen Waddle, man. I didn't disparage you and your pick right off the rip, even though you were a little nervous to talk about it. I could tell by a little hesitation in your voice to say that name. But I don't hate it, man. I don't hate Jaylen Waddle. Let's move on to New England, and then we'll recap the AFC East after we get through the teams.
Yeah, so the next one should be pretty simple. A lot of people kind of see it coming. It's Drake May, right? For the Patriots, it has to be Drake May. They're putting pieces in place so we can be successful this season. They improved the offensive line. They hopefully have an offense in place that can work much better for his skill set. We've already seen the flashes in the pan, but with inconsistent offensive line play and weapons, he's really struggled to kind of get consistency offensively, but definitely the highs of Drake May were very, very high, and I think we'll only see more of that in 2025. Drake May is probably one of the easiest breakout candidates on the Patriots. Ray, is there anybody else you'd say could be a breakout candidate? Because it feels like, at least for me, if Drake May breaks out, then everyone else has a chance to break out.
If May breaks out, I think there's a chance one of the receivers also breaks out as well. Is that Pop Douglas turning into a PPR monster? Because we know Drake May targets the slot. Would that be Travion Henderson? I don't want to go that far to put Hendo in there.
Hendo was my second pick.
Yeah, I think
Drake May's
probably the appropriate one. I'm not going Jalen Polk. Can't go Kayshon Boutte. I think you're right. It's Drake May. Let's wrap up with the New York Jets, and he can't break out because he's already been really good in fantasy. He's been a top 10 player. I want to put Justin Fields, right? Justin Fields, his year as the full-time starter, no kind of quarterback controversy, no quarterback competition. He is the guy. He can go into this season free and just play football. But it's Garrett Wilson, and we've been begging for it for like 3 years now. It's the year it's got to happen, right, Jay Rich? He's the only ticket in town. That they are prioritizing him. They did nothing really to upgrade the pass catchers in this offense. It has to be finally, and I'm not talking creep into 1,000 yards. I ain't talking no 1,100 yards, 15 points per game. I'm talking about a big jump where he can score you 17 points per game. He's getting you 1,300 receiving yards, hopefully 8, 9, 10 touchdowns. Garrett Wilson, it has to happen this year. This is year 4 of Garrett Wilson, I believe. It's got to happen this year.
No, right. You're 100% right. And that's where everyone loves Garrett Wilson because of the targets, right? But he still only has a career high of 101 receptions. 1,104 yards is good, but for the talent that he had out of Ohio State, we expect him to reach higher highs by now. Last season, he did have 7 touchdowns, but yeah, you're looking for a guy who has 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. Like, that's what you need out of Garrett Wilson to say that he really broke out and kind of achieved some semblance of that ceiling that we think that he has, because even 1,300 feels light for a player of his caliber. He's definitely the breakout candidate on this team. I thought maybe we'd go Mason Taylor, because maybe there's a small world where he could break out, but rookie tight end just feels unlikely.
I don't see how Mason Taylor asserts himself as a primary target earner as a rookie. Not as a rookie. It's hard for rookie tight ends in general. I'd have a lot more confidence if he was drafted where Kyle Pitts got picked, right? Where I know you're going to be on the field and you're going to get the ball thrown to you. Second round that's still great draft capital. Incredible capital for him long term. But in this season, Jay Rich, 25, if you're talking about a tight end breakout, he's not getting you 800, 900 yards as a rookie. You're
probably looking at like 600. I think 700 would probably be pretty damn good.
If he has
right?
700 yards as a rookie, he broke out. That would be pretty damn good. If he had 700 receiving yards, I don't think that's realistic for him in year 1. So AFC East, Jay Rich. AFC East, we had Khalil Shakir from the Buffalo Bills, Jaylen Waddle, Jaylen Wright, the 2 Jaylens in Miami, Drake May in New England, and Garrett Wilson in New York. Let's move on to what I thought was a challenging division, probably the most challenging one, the AFC North. I thought this was kind of hard to do this one because a lot of these teams, it's who's breaking out in Baltimore, right? You got Henry, you got Lamar. I don't think either of us are going to put Rashad Bateman as the breakout. This was a tough one. So let's start off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jay Rich, Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm coming around more and more on this idea that there's only one X receiver in Pittsburgh. There's one guy. And when Aaron Rodgers has that one guy, they're going to get the ball, and they're going to get the ball a lot. It's going to be DK Metcalf, Jay Rich. It's going to be DK Metcalf. So I'm going to switch the question a little bit, and it's how high can DK Metcalf finish this year in what a lot of people think could be his breakout? I know he's been good back in 2020, but we're re-breaking out. He's been dormant, like that virus in your body, right? It's been dormant for a little while. We want to see him erupt in 2025. So how high could DK Metcalf finish in 25?
I would say that
it's top 10 in this range of outcome.
I think it's in the range of outcomes. The problem for me is that, for DK Metcalf to break out, he would probably have to hit career highs this season. I don't think anything less would be considered a breakout. Right, which would be above 83 receptions. Well, he has higher than that, but his career season with 83 receptions, 1,300 yards, and 10 touchdowns. He's had a 12 touchdown season, so we know he's capable of double-digit touchdowns. That's definitely within the realm of possibilities, and that's what can get you up to a top 10 receiver. But he's got to probably hit at least 1,300 yards as well. And so I think it's in the realm of possibilities, but as you said, that's going back to 2020. Yeah. We're not throwing it back to 2022 like we did with Jaylen Waddle. We're throwing it all the way back to 2020 for his career season. Now, there's been a lot of competition there. Tyler Lockett, Jack Smith and Jigba, and kind of him coming along in Seattle. But he's the only show in town. And he's either going to be great or he's going to be shockingly bad, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you look to Garrett Wilson. You say, Garrett Wilson was pretty damn good under Aaron Rodgers. And if DK Metcalf is as good as Garrett Wilson, he'll probably be pretty damn good under Aaron Rodgers as well. But if he's not so good, because he's not so good at getting open, which is a bit of a problem for DK at times, I do think there's a world where he ends up in that Garrett Wilson land. 150 targets, around 95 receptions, 1,100 yards, 6-7 touchdowns. And you're looking at a middling wide receiver too. which I think is still fine given his price tag, but it's not necessarily the breakout you're paying for. But I am with you. I like DK Metcalf a lot. I'd be buying him at pretty much anything outside the 20s at wide
see
receiver.
People talking,
he's got a high ceiling.
People talking about Roman Wilson.
You could say him.
Here's my thing. Here's what I didn't want to do on this show. Just fucking throw random ass names out there, right? I'm drafting. I'm a person, and people who are in leagues with me or have seen me an underdog, like I practice what I preach, Jay Rich. I put my money where my mouth is. Have I drafted a few Roman Wilson? Sure. Do I have any level of confidence that he's going to break out after doing what in his rookie year? Nothing. I'm just gonna say this. Why is he a bet to break out over a Jalen Polk? Like neither of them did a damn thing as a rookie, and you don't want Jalen Polk. So now you want to blow. We'll see with Roman Wilson.
The pick is Calvin Austin, like 100%. Third-year breakout, 30 targets year 1, 58 targets year 2. He still had 548 yards last season. People probably forget that because it's just not a lot of production, but relative to George Pickens' 900, it's actually not that bad, right? Now you have Aaron Rodgers. The pick is easily Calvin Austin over Roman Wilson, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Cleveland Browns. Jay Rich, who do we have for the Cleveland Browns breakout in 2025? And it's not Quinshon Judkins, so don't ask.
I was really hoping we could put Shedeur Sanders here because I feel like that would be really fun. But this is a very common breakout, I feel like, in the Dynasty community. Everyone really likes this kid.
Week 7 through 9, Jay Rich. Well, Week 7 through 9.
We love those small samples in fantasy football. And, of course, we're talking about Cedric Tillman, another fantastic Tennessee wide receiver, but he's a big body guy. And depending on who is quarterback, and Ray, we can touch on this briefly since we're talking about the Browns, apparently Myles Garrett is vying for Joe Flacco, and there's other veterans in the room that are vying for Joe Flacco to be the starting quarterback. And I think for fantasy purposes, we all want to see that happen. But Cedric Tillman could be the opposite to Jerry Jeudy, that outside threat, and could deliver a fantastic season for fantasy purposes. I probably don't think he has much of a ceiling beyond like a wide receiver 3, but feel free to talk about why you think Cedric Tillman could be even better than that.
Yeah, I mean, he in a very small sample size, very small sample size, he was really good. And during that time, Jerry Jeudy wasn't, he hadn't really ascended and he hadn't, asserted himself as the dominant guy. Cedric Tillman missed a ton of time. I believe he played in 11 or 12 games last year, but Cleveland was just a goddamn mess, right? They were just a wreck from head to toe, top to bottom. And they don't have a lot of other options, Jay. You've got David Njoku, you've got Jerry Jeudy, and Cedric Tillman does profile like an outside wide receiver, and in a small window, he was really good. It's the same coaching staff. They know who he is. They know what he can do. This is a player that if Cleveland's going to be playing from behind, you've got a young running game, and if veteran quarterback Joe Flacco is there, I would feel confident. Everybody can't be a 1, right? There's only 12 spots for a wide receiver 1. You need wide receiver 2s. You need wide receiver 3s. You need some players that you can plug into your flex spots. I do think Cedric Tillman is going to have the opportunity to do that here in 2025. Therefore, you got to break out. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in 2025 for Cedric Tillman. Let's move on to the Cincinnati Bengals. Jay Rich, I'm loving this one. I think this. Okay. I think he's awesome in best ball. His price, I don't think it really reflects the offense that he's in. He's been around for a long time, so people just kind of, I don't really want this guy. Cincinnati Bengals. It's Mr. Gritty himself. It's Mike Gesicki. You're talking about a tight end? You want to give me that Mason Taylor or got Mike Gesicki? It's not even close. Like, if I'm going to pick a tight end, and this player, Gesicki, had 60 receptions, 600 and something yards last year, first year with Joe Burrow. A lot of people thought it would be a one-and-done move. What'd they do? Bring him back. Come on, let's run it back, Mike Gesicki. We know what Jamar's going to do. And here's the reality about Cincinnati. Jamar's underutilized first and foremost. Like, they could throw him the ball a hell of a lot more than they do as is. He's underutilized. But Joe Burrow's going to throw the ball like crazy. That's what the Bengals want to do. Neutral pass rate, 60+%. They're throwing the football. They have built the offense to air that bitch out, and it's not changing in 2025. Mike Gesicki, no double team. It's single ISO coverage every time. And as bad as his gritty is, he's still good at running that seam route and getting open down the field. Mike Gesicki is a cheat code at cost at tight end.
Yeah, right. You laid out the case perfectly. I mean, 83 targets last year, 65 receptions, 665 in terms of yardage. But I think the most surprising part with Gesicki is how the hell did he only have 2 touchdowns? I understand that there's a lot of great receivers
they don't want
and
to
a lot
see
of
him
playmakers, but he's a player that could easily have a 7-8 touchdown season with Joe Burrow at the helm, right? And that's really what you're buying into. You're buying into the potential beyond simply the targets and volume, which is probably going to be there, but also potential touchdown ceiling that exists for him as well. So I'm totally with you. I think year 2 in this offense, we may see him be more involved in the red zone because they had struggled at times when they couldn't hit those quick fades and quick strikes to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase.
Can we play a little Would You Rather tight end edition with Mike Gesicki and just tell me at cost what player you would rather have? Can we do that really quickly?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, Mike Gesicki is going off of the board currently on Underdog as tight end 21. Jay Rich, tight end 21. Would you rather Mike Gesicki for 2025 or Kyle Pitts?
I will take Mike Gesicki.
Kyle Pitts is coming off the board as tight end 18, Jay Rich. So you are getting rounds of difference. Mike Gesicki or Colston Loveland for 2025?
I'd take Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki is tight end 21, Colston Loveland tight end 12. Jay Rich. Let me go a little higher. 2025, Mike Gesicki or Tyler Warren?
Ooh. I will probably take Tyler Warren. Okay. I think just because the lack of playmakers on the Colts offense, I'll lean Warren.
Yeah, that's tight end 9. So that's tight end 9. So you said, hey, I'm good. Mike Gesicki or Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce? Would you take Kelce or Andrews over Gesicki? I would.
No.
I would take Kelce over him, absolutely. And Andrews.
Or sorry, I would take Kelce and Andrews over Gesicki. Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Okay.
That's what I meant to say.
All right, let me go just a few higher than Mike Gesicki. Mike Gesicki or Britton Strange? Would you rather?
I'm taking Gesicki. Why would I
Gesicki or Jonnu Smith?
Gotta take Gesicki now.
Gesicki or Isaiah Likely?
I think that's personal preference a little bit.
Okay. All those guys are higher. That's all. His price is he is not appropriately priced.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
He should probably be tight end 14, 15, 16, somewhere around that range?
Probably around that range, and he's tight end 21. So,
Gesicki,
breakout for me. Move on to the Baltimore Ravens, Jay Rich. This was tough, and I didn't make this pick. I intentionally did not make a Ravens pick because I didn't want to hear any shit from the chat today. I didn't make this pick, but this would have been my call as well. This would have been my call as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens are a team that has very talented players, but they don't really have a player that you could see breaking out. And I think this is the kind of guy that we've seen in offenses in Keaton Mitchell that already showed how explosive he can be. In his rookie season, he played 8 games. He had 47 attempts, Ray, and 396 yards and 2 touchdowns. 8.4 an attempt. He is explosive. He can catch passes, and he can be the lightning to Derrick Henry's thunder. And when you talk about balance offensively, this is where I think the Ravens could not necessarily desperately need him to get better, but I think if he does break out, he is so much more valuable than Isaiah Likely would be, who I think is the other breakout candidate for this team. But we know he's going to split with Andrews. So we know Derrick Henry is going to be heavily involved, but if they can find a way to utilize Keaton Mitchell as well, I think it adds an element to their offense that they don't currently have. And I wanted to mention, Justice Hill can be cut for about $1 million in savings right now for the Ravens. So he's currently on the roster, and I wanted to make sure I checked that before we talked about him, but he can be cut, and the Ravens can save a bit of money by cutting him. And I think with Mitchell healthy this season, because last year he was coming off a terrible injury, he could really break out in year 3.
Was it his whole knee? Was it all the CLs
I think it was the entire knee. He had one of the more gruesome injuries we've seen. Like his injury, I think, was similar to Tank Dell's injury. Right, where Tank Dell's injury was real bad.
I don't know like the official diagnosis, but I remember the play, and I would have picked Mitchell too. I don't think it's Bateman. I thought Likely, but if Andrews is on the field, man, he's going. As much as I think Likely can do it as the number 1 tight end, if Andrews is there, they're just not going to give him all that. They're not going to give him all the tight end work. So that's what's hard for me. It should be Likely.
Break out. If Andrews is there, unfortunately.
It just makes it really, especially for tight end. I do think there's a world where Mitchell started to have a little breakout before he got hurt. So are the Ravens going to give Derrick Henry all that work again? Or is it like, look, we know you can do it. You're the king. You're going to get yours, but we're not going to ride you into the damn dirt because we need you in December, January, February. I can absolutely see Mitchell getting some more run to kind of, take some pressure off of Henry, especially if Justice Hill is not in the building. All right, AFC North, Keaton Mitchell, Mike Gesicki, Cedric Tillman, DK Metcalf. We had some Roman Wilson and Calvin Austin for the Pittsburgh Steelers. No one really offered up anybody else for Cleveland. I think Cleveland people are fine with that. I thought about Yossi Vosh for Cincinnati. Here's the thing with him, man. There's no ceiling. There's no ceiling there because of Chase and Higgins. But if Yossi Vosh is the third receiver, you better believe you're going to get 2 or 3 weeks where he has a couple of touchdowns, right? He did it last year. He's not going to catch the ball for a lot. He's never going to get a bunch of volume. But if Yossi Vosh could just go out there and just be a dart throw best ball, I love him with Burrow stacks. Just give me some Yossi Vosh so I can get those 5-6 touchdowns throughout the season. But I love Mike Gesicki, especially in best ball this year. I think he's an incredible tight end to roster. Let's go to the AFC South, Jay Rich. This is
disgusting.
We did a show on Bleacher Report. We ranked the divisions. Where'd the AFC South come in? Were they dead last?
They were DFL, dead last, yep.
Dead effing last. The AFC South. The Houston Texans, the Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, Tennessee Titans. Jay Rich, I'm going to start with the Titans. My breakout candidate that I'm offering up for the Tennessee Titans, it's not Cam Ward. Cam Ward's going to do his thing, and we'll have years to talk about the number 1 overall pick. It will not be Treylon Burks either. Jay, weeks 15 through 17, we had a top 10 running back in the NFL. Small sample size. But with this big concussion-proof helmet on, Tyjae Spears was pretty damn good down the stretch. Now, he needs to stay on the field, Jay Rich, but we've already heard Brian Callahan talk about wanting to pull back, reel in some of that Tony Pollard workload, get Tyjae Spears more involved in this offense, and a good running game is a young quarterback's best friend. I am in on Tyjae Spears. Year 3 breakout. Let's go, number 2. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really disagree with you. There just isn't really anyone on the offense that I like. I honestly, when we started talking about this show, my thought was actually Calvin Ridley.
I thought that at first too.
But he's like 30. Why are we talking about 30-year-old breakouts?
You can have a late resurgence.
Look, there's late breakouts, and then there's 30-year-old breakouts. Different story.
Leave the 30-year-olds alone. Don't discriminate.
Tyjae was hurt. I'm just not confident he's not going to get hurt again. That's the problem, is that when he's on the field, he's great. He's kind of always shown that. And I think the sad part for Tyjae is that Callahan even talked about that at the beginning of the season. Of course, he's talking about that now because he got hurt again, but he even talked about it at the beginning of the season, wanting to work with two guys in the backfield, but Tyjae was hurt, so he wasn't able to do that, give all the work to Tony Pollard. If anyone wants to break out, it would be Tyjae because there really is anyone else. It's not going to be Okonkwo. I'm not going to say Lockett because Lockett's already pretty good and he'll be fine. And I don't even know who else is there offensively. It kind of has to be Tyjae because Pollard's probably pretty good. But I did want to point out that Tyjae had almost as many receptions as Tony Pollard despite being hurt. Pollard only had 41 and Tyjae still had 30 and he missed a ton of time last year. Yeah. All right, Jay, let's go to Indianapolis for everyone's favorite breakout. Who is it? Everyone's favorite. I had a different name at first, but everybody's breakout in Indianapolis is who this year? It's Josh Downs. It's because Josh Downs is the best receiver in Indianapolis, and it's not even particularly close. Michael Pittman has continued to regress, and he's not performing at the level he needs to. He's basically going that Deontay Johnson lane where he catches a lot of passes and doesn't do anything with them. Josh Downs is another player that just needs to stay healthy and on the field, but he's already shown his explosiveness over the middle. We saw it in college. We've seen it at spurts in the NFL. And I think even though he's the popular choice right now, I would still bet on Josh Downs to be the breakout candidate because if Daniel Jones is the quarterback, which it expects he's going to be, I think he could operate as a Wan'Dale Robinson plus type of player and be that safety valve for Daniel Jones this season in Indianapolis.
Yeah, man. And his Trinity stuff is really good. His usage score, Jay Rich, high-end historical outcome based on how he was used last year would put him in that 15 and a half point per game range for Josh Downs. He was about 12 points per game last year, above the regression line. These are all good positive signals for Josh Downs in 2025. So I agree with you. I had Tyler Warren offered up for tribute is breaking out, but I backtracked on that a little bit. But I did have Tyler Warren initially as the breakout candidate for the Indianapolis Colts. Let's go to Houston Texans. Very difficult in Houston. I thought about putting Nick Chubb, Jay Rich, as the breakout in 2025 for Houston, but we went with a rookie receiver. And we've had conversations about these rookie wideouts all off season, Jay Rich, and you are 10 toes down on Jaylen Noel, baby. Jaylen Noel, your offensive breakout for the Houston Texans.
Yeah, it's very well known. I'm not the biggest fan of Jaden Higgins. We know that Nico Collins is good. We know Joe Mixon is good. Thought about putting CJ Stroud here. But I think the bigger competition, if you don't want to look to the interior offensive line, which we're not doing on this show, it's the battle between Christian Kirk and Jaylen Noel for that third wide receiver role.
So you agree that Jaden Higgins is going to be is out there? You think you think Higgins over Noel?
Yeah, I think Higgins will be out there.
Okay.
I think he'll be out there, but who got the ball last season? It was Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs wasn't playing outside. It was in the slot that he got the ball, and he saw a ton of targets. Obviously, now he's in New England, and they brought in Christian Kirk, in theory, to fill that slot role. But if he's not that good, or recovering from injury isn't quite ready, or simply Jaylen Noel is better than him, then there is a world where Noel could be on the field and taking those slot targets that we saw Tank Dell get, that we saw Stephon Diggs get, that we know that CJ Stroud likes to target. And honestly, if I'm just betting on a role in the Houston offense, I think that's the role you want to bet on, whether it's Christian Kirk or Jaylen Noel. And it's not because Higgins isn't talented. It's just we haven't really seen Stroud utilize that role as heavily as he will obviously get the ball to Nico Collins. So I think in the pecking order of targets in the way they kind of utilize their offense, you look to Collins first, then you go to the slot, and then you probably get to Jaden Higgins. Now, we'll see what they decide to do this season, but I would probably bet on that slot role over betting on Jaden Higgins to be the breakout on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, who else would it be? I'm just thinking the only other players on Houston's offense that you can consider a breakout, it'd be the two rookie receivers. Woody Marks
is the other one. Like, don't expect it, though.
If Chris... Yeah, can you just really be a fence sitter and be like, Nico's going to take it another level up? Like, you know, there's
wide receiver 6, but he's going to be wide receiver 1.
Now he's going to be wide receiver 1. Outside of saying Nico's going to finish as wide receiver 1, which would be again another
honestly, Ray, like
another level of breakout.
I thought about Stroud. Stroud had a great rookie season, but he could definitely level up. He hasn't even thrown for 24 touchdowns in his career. Really? Like if Stroud throws for 4,400 yards and 35 touchdowns, there's your breakout. Like that's your breakout. As good as Stroud was as a rookie, it wasn't like he had these phenomenal numbers that puts him in the upper echelon of quarterbacks in terms of actual like statistics.
Yeah, Luke
he had a great season though.
Luke said he would have been on board. He said Stroud needs a re-breakout. We need Stroud to re-break out. I don't hate that. I don't hate that, Jay Rich. And Johnny said, is Marks ahead of Chubb? Marks and Chubb don't play the same position.
Yeah, they're different.
If you know, you know. They don't even play the same position. It might say RB after their name, but they don't occupy the same use case for that team. Guaranteed. Not even in the same room as far as what they're probably asked to do for their team. Jacksonville, Jay Rich, the final AFC South breakout, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I've seen a lot of names. I've already seen Brenton Strange. I've seen people say Travis Hunter in the chat. You know who really needs to break out? Who Jay Rich hates. He can't stand this quarterback. He needs to break out. He doesn't give him any passes for having 18 different offensive coordinators. The real breakout in Jacksonville, and if he doesn't break out, it's going to screw everybody. It's Trevor Lawrence, Jay Rich. It's T-Law. It's T-Law. It's T-Law. He needs to do it this year. It's year what? 4? 5? Year 5 for Trevor Lawrence. This is the guy with this weaponry, with this offensive coordinator. He needs to do it this year. It's Trevor Lawrence is set up to have one of them type of seasons. He's going to give you 400 and something on the ground with his legs. He's going to score you 5+ on the ground. He's going to have every opportunity to sling that shit around this season and get the ball to Travis Hunter, get the ball to Brian Thomas, to Brenton Strange, to his running backs. It's got to be Trevor Lawrence this year, Jay.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Like my answer almost is Travis Hunter. Like I think that's the player I really want to see break out. And I'm just talking about like my confidence level in a player breaking out.
They don't like the golden one. They don't like the golden one. They don't like it. They don't like it, Jay.
I mean, can you blame them? Because I've brought this up on this show probably more than 3 or 4 times, how Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones' stats were eerily similar in the games that they played last season, unfortunately for Trevor Lawrence. And unfortunately for Trevor Lawrence as well, his rookie season, 17 interceptions. Second season, only 8 interceptions.
Urban Meyer.
Third season, 14 interceptions. Last season, 7 interceptions in only 10 games. So what's going to happen this season if he plays 17 games? He's probably going to throw somewhere 14 to 17 interceptions once again, and he also has a fumbling issue. But if Liam Cohen can clean that up, then yes, there is absolutely a world where Trevor Lawrence could be a very high-level quarterback, because much like CJ Stroud, career highs for Trevor Lawrence, 4,113 yards, 25 passing touchdowns, and he does have a bit of rushing upside as well. So I think Trevor Lawrence will be potentially the breakout candidate. My pick probably would have been Travis Hunter, but if Travis Hunter's good, guess who's going to be good? Trevor Lawrence.
Would you rather Trevor Lawrence or Michael Penix 2025?
For fantasy purposes?
Yeah, fantasy, all fantasy. Trevor Lawrence, Michael Penix, 25.
I think Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or CJ Stroud?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or Tua?
Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, he's ahead of all those guys. Trevor Lawrence or Jordan Love?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence or Drake May? T-Law.
It could be.
Don't hope you admit, just gut feel. What was your gut feel?
My
T-Law
gut
or
feel
May?
is T-Law. Yeah, the gut feel is T-Law.
T-Law or Fields?
I would probably take T-Law.
T-Law or Purdy?
Is it bad I want to say T-Law?
I don't.
I feel like I'm not down on Purdy, though.
All I'll say is Fields is QB 10, Purdy QB 11, May QB 14, and Trevor QB 19. So I think here's what I think is happening. I think subconsciously we all recognize the environment, and it feels today to everybody this is going to be good. You got Brian Dam Thomas, Travis Hunter, Brenton Strange. You got a bevy of running backs, even if one might not be the guy. You got 4 different damn running backs between Allen Tootin, Bigsby, and ETN. O-line, I'm not going to get into if it's better or worse than what it was, but I think we all think with Liam Cohen, it should be better, yet we're all kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I don't know with this situation, but I think that's low. QB 19 for T-Law. T-Law or JJ McCarthy 2025?
T-Law.
He's behind all those guys that I just named.
And so here's what I think people need to remember when you're talking about Trevor Lawrence. Like, he's going to be a high volume passer. Like, that's going to happen once again for him this season, because he's been a high volume passer just about every stage of his career. Opening season, 600 attempts. Next season, 584. Next season, 564. Then this past season, 284 in only 10 games. He is a high volume passer.
Let's see what Baker did last year.
Well, Baker's a different type of quarterback.
I just want to see how much he threw. 570 last year. I mean, I'm just looking at his stats. So he's throwing the ball, 570 and 560 the year before. So he's throwing the ball up.
Here's my problem when people start comparing quarterbacks, right? You like Fields because he runs, but he can't pass. So why do you care? Like, yes, it matters, but you shouldn't lean so heavily into the rushing that you completely ignore the fact that he cannot throw the football at all. If you like Drake May, I'm totally with you on taking it, because he does have the rushing upside, and if he hits, he's literally Justin Herbert with more rushing upside in terms of fantasy purposes. So I like that for Drake May. I don't understand why people like Jordan Love, because he has no good receivers. All of his receivers are just like guys in the offense. Okay, Ray, how do you feel about Jayden Reed? You've been talking about how
fine.
Jayden Reed isn't really that guy for years, right?
Right.
He's not that. He doesn't have anybody to throw the ball to when he's in trouble,
people
and
love
he
Jordan
chucks
Love?
it up like no tomorrow.
Because he
all the
finished
time.
QB5 in 2023. He's 19.4 points per game in 23. He had 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, another 4 on the ground. He's got to play better, man. He's got to play better.
He's got to play better.
He's got to play better. He tore his damn leg up. What he hurt his knee the first game of the season last year. He wasn't the same.
Well, that's the case for Love, is that he was hurt. He came back maybe sooner than he would have liked, played through some injury, was banged up, and can be better this year. And I do believe that's possible, but it's the same case for Trevor Lawrence. He got hurt last year. He struggled at times. He's playing a new offense. He actually has more weapons this season. And I think the most underrated part about all of this that nobody talks about with Trevor Lawrence, it's not that Liam Cohen is a great passing game coordinator. It's the run scheme that is going to greatly benefit this Jaguars offense. Sean McVay doesn't go around talking about how Liam Cohen did such a great job designing pass plays for Baker Mayfield. What he talks about is how well he schemed the run and utilized multiple running backs to be more effective and more efficient on the ground. And that's why we like Jarquez Hunter, because we expect them to use more two backfield sets over what we saw from Liam Cohen and what Sean McVay said he wants to implement into the Rams system this year. Having Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, who are two talented running backs, should be great for Trevor Lawrence. And if Liam Cohen does what he did with Baker and throws the ball into the end zone instead of trying to run it in, then he's probably going to have a great touchdown ceiling as well. So you should like Trevor Lawrence for the same reasons why you like Jordan Love, except he's playing in a better offense with better players. And that's the reason why you should probably lean into Trevor Lawrence a bit more.
Right. AFC South, Houston Texans, Jaylen Noah, rookie wide receiver. Josh Downs from the Indianapolis Colts, Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tyjae Spears from the Tennessee Titans. Last division, the AFC West, Jay Rich, and we'll start with the LA Chargers. Lad McConkey on the NFL Top 100, so I think he can be better this year, but we can't put Lad as the breakout, even though he was on the Top 100. We're going to the rookie well. This is an easy one. It's going to be Omarion Hampton, Jay Rich. He's too big. He's too fast. He's too good. And Najee Harris is Najee Harris. Like, he's going to do his thing, but the breakout star for this offense in 2025 is going to be running back Omarion Hampton.
Yep. No disagreement for me here. It's going to be a split backfield. He'll be the more efficient runner, and I think he has a great touchdown ceiling well, because this team's going to be
Would
good.
it be kind of cool to see, and I know this is, you're not going to wrap your mind around it because the comps, the play style, the comparisons body type wise are way different. But how freaking awesome would it be if Najee Harris was just the guy that just grinded the between the 20s touches, and then they utilized Omarion Hampton in the receiving game. He got his rush, but he was the efficiency player, right? He's the guy using the receiving game. He's the one getting the high value touches. That would be awesome to see. Keep him fresh. Let that big explosive
So you're talking
bat.
about like Melvin Gordon and Austin
Yeah,
Eckler,
man.
basically.
Like Melvin Gordon. That'd be dope. That'd be dope to see from the Chargers this fall. All right, let's go to the Las Vegas Raiders. Jay Rich. Ashton Jeanty would be the name, but I think
he should be.
You think it should be Ashton Jeanty? You want to switch it up? You want to just go Jeanty? I mean, that's very easy. We can go Jeanty. Go Jeanty. Go Jeanty.
So
you want
to
switch it up?
We will talk about both. The pick for me, though, was Jacoby Myers. And what Jacoby Myers did last year in only 15 games, while now also having an offensive upgrade, not just with Geno Smith at quarterback, but Chip Kelly as his OC, Pete Carroll, depending on what they decide to do, and hopefully a much more efficient running game. Like, I do think there is a world where Jacoby Myers, who had 129 targets, 87 receptions, 1,027 yards, and only 4 touchdowns last season in 15 games, can be a 1,300-yard, 7-touchdown receiver in the NFL. Like, I do think that's very possible and a very realistic outcome for Jacoby Myers.
This is Jacoby Myers. I didn't segment for any range. I didn't filter the weeks. This is weeks 1 through 17. We're chasing high-end outcomes on this show. Players who were utilized, like Jacoby Myers, in their following season have a high-end outcome range in the 18-point-per-game range for Jacoby Myers. So if you're telling me he's getting a quarterback upgrade in Geno Smith, he's going to be the number one wide receiver. We know Brock Bowers is going to get his. Hell yeah, I'm with you. Like the usage, 7+ Trinity score, usage score, target share, first downs, air yard share, yards per route run. His medium range outcome was higher than than what he scored last year. I'm loving Jacoby Myers in 2025. Trinity loves him too. Trust it.
Yeah, I think Jacoby is the breakout pick because even though he's had some pretty good seasons so far, like I do think there is a higher end outcome for him, but there's just something, Ray, about we're talking about breakouts. And I don't care if he's a first round running back. I don't care if he almost won the Heisman. There is absolutely a world where we are not drafting Ashton Genty high enough. Like that absolutely exists because the volume's going to be there and we know he's a tackle breaking machine. And he has every opportunity to be maybe not the RB1, but potentially the RB1 this season for fantasy football.
Man, let me just say this, dude.
It's crazy, but it's possible.
I hear you. I want to agree with you. Maybe, man. I mean, we just did this shit with Bijan Robinson.
But he's not. But the thing is, he's not Bijan Robinson. Like, and he's playing in an offense that actually makes sense for what they. Like,
that's what I mean. That's why I didn't poo-poo it.
Right when you talk about Arthur Smith,
if he's going to get Zeke Elliott and Saquon Barkley rookie treatment, then yes. If you're saying that's what he's going to get, then yes.
Well, this is Pete's Marshawn Lynch. Like that's who Ashton Genty is. This is his Marshawn Lynch, right? And that's where when you look to that style of offense and the way they played, like it was pretty much all Marshawn Lynch. And he was the guy in the red zone. He caught passes. He was a great rusher, and he's probably more dynamic than like anybody else that Pete Carroll's ever had. He may be the best running back Pete Carroll's ever had. And Kenneth Walker was great under Pete Carroll as well. And Ashton Genty's definitely better than Kenneth Walker. So that's all I'm saying. Like I think people just see the Raiders and they say, well, bad offensive line, poor quarterback play. We'll see what they are, especially in that division. And they have an extremely hard schedule. But if he were to overcome all of those obstacles, he would finish as a very, very, very high end running back.
I think our expectations are just very high. And when you listen to NFL running backs talk about their transition from college to the NFL, they all talk about how incredibly difficult it is. How the most recent example of a running back talking about it was Ramondre Stevenson and talking about, man, I want another running back here. He said he was gassed his rookie season down the stretch, and he wasn't getting a projected 350 touches. You got to be a special player to just go into the NFL and just get 330 attempts and be fresh at the end. Zeke Elliott did it. Zeke Elliott's head is also this big, and it's made out of pure metal. I mean, his head is massive. He played it all. It's just a big transition from going from running through the Mountain West to getting blasted week in and week out, and then being like, oh yeah, he's going to finish he's just going to make it through the whole season.
I mean, 397 opportunities last year is pretty insane. Like, that's a workload that you can bank on a little bit.
Let's move on to the Denver Broncos, Jay Rich. Who do you have as your tribute for the breakout candidate for Denver in 2025?
It is a player that you like a lot, Ray.
Well, and I actually have a different receiver from this team, but...
Well, because we differ a little bit, and we can talk about it.
We can talk about it.
But it's Devon Vele. Devon Vele was the number 2 receiver on Denver last year, and I bet you don't even know this, Ray, because I'm sure you didn't know about Devon Vele back in week 1 of the 2025 NFL season. But were you aware that Devon Vele had 8 targets week 1? Did you know that?
I think I was aware. I think I did a whole Trinity video about it, but continue.
So he had 8 targets week 1. Then he got hurt. Then he came back, and he was still the leading receiver for Denver behind Courtland Sutton. I just don't see a world where he's not the number 2 receiver again this year. It could be Marvin Mims. It could be Troy Franklin. It could be Evan Ingram. But the fact that he went in and was the number 2 receiver starting the season, got hurt, and still finished as the team's wide receiver 2 in terms of targets, I believe receptions, and yardage. I just don't see a world where he's not that guy once again for this team. It could be Evan Ingram, but he's not a breakout candidate. And I just don't trust any of the other receivers to be that breakout candidate, and I'm not picking RJ Harvey. So for me, it's Devon Vele. I just think he's got the best chance to have a 100-target season on this team. And I think with Bo Nix as the quarterback throwing 29 passing touchdowns last season, maybe he throws for more this year, and Vele can be a big contributor for this Denver Broncos team.
I'm just going to offer up who I had as tribute. I've got little data to support this because his Trinity score was absolute ass. Troy Franklin. When I look at the receivers, you know who also plays like Devon Vele, Cortland Sutton, and Pat Bryant? Like there's only one other player offensively from the receiver position that has the juice to get downfield like Troy Franklin, and that's Marvin Mims, who is the team's primary punt returner and kick returner, who really didn't do much the first couple of years, was much better down the stretch last year. There's something that just, Troy Franklin is not done. He ain't dead, Jay Rich. He's not done. He's not dead. I think he's a sneaky one that I want, that you'll look up and be like, damn, Franklin was like this offense's version of Rashid Shaheed. The year, like, I'm not saying he's going for 1,000 yards this year, but I really have started taking some Troy Franklin shots late, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of agree with you. I think the only hard part is that for me, I still think Mims is the better player than Franklin. And especially with the way...
There's no way you believe that. There's as much as you love Troy Franklin, there's not a chance. I'm not going to let you lie to the wake-up chat today. That is a bold-faced lie that you like Marvin Mims and think he's better than Troy Franklin. That's a damn lie.
Okay, but he is better than Troy Franklin. That's why he was on the field.
You
That's
don't
why
believe
he
that, Jay Ritt. You don't believe that.
I love Troy Franklin. I think he's a great receiver. But if you can't get on the field in this offense that doesn't even have good receivers, Cortland Sutton is barely a good receiver.
He's a rookie third-round pick, man.
Which is exactly why he's not going to be on the field. They had Marvin Mims, and Peyton traded up to get Marvin Mims. And he doesn't even use them. Then last season, second half of the year, from week 10 to 17, he actually started to use Marvin Mims consistently in the offense. He had multiple games from week 10 to week 17. Every game but one, he had over 4 targets in a game. So like that for me isn't like a crazy breakout, but if you're getting 4 targets in a game, that's pretty good in terms of your potential to break out if you do that for an entire season, right? I don't think Franklin's going to be able to get that. So if they have the second half when when Bo Nix was cooking in the second half, including Marvin Mims in the offense, we'll see what happens with Vele. Like, I just think the better bet is Marvin Mims.
Kevin said Troy Franklin might be the NVS of Nelson Aguilar. Stop it, Kevin.
Now there's a take.
Stop. What are you talking about? Like, what? Who's left? Where do we have left? Kansas City. Who's the breakout?
Oh.
Who's the
Xavier
breakout?
Worthy, right? Your boy. X-Worthy.
You seem so dejected talking about it. Xavier Worthy, yes. He is the breakout. Let me say this. I've been talking about Xavier Worthy since the training camp video came out with him getting pushed to the ground. This chat, all the people, oh, he's too skinny, not that good. And then all of a sudden, Jay Rich, after I've been saying it for a good part of a year, Matt Harmon, my coworker and colleague over there at Yahoo Fantasy, he puts out something. Oh man, X-Worthy might be a little. Then all I saw last week was, man, X-Worthy's actually pretty damn good. I've been telling you for weeks and months, it wasn't a byproduct of Rice. It wasn't just a playoff push. This is Deshaun Jackson 2.0.
Okay. So I have to ask you the question. Do you think he outscores Rashee Rice? Because if we're being honest, the breakout
I think
has
they
to
both
be Rashee
score
Rice.
a lot.
Okay, but that wasn't the question. Don't reframe the question. Is he going to outscore Rashee Rice? Because Rashee Rice did it for 3 games last year. That is not a breakout. So just because he had that
so
lightning in the
you want
bottle
to put
moment,
Rashee Rice in the breakout?
I think Rashee Rice is the breakout. But I obviously still agree with you. I think Worthy's going to be good. But you can't say 3 games is a breakout. Otherwise, Tyjae Spears broke out last year, and he's on this list.
All right. Fine. Rashee Rice could be on the list too. I don't know. Rice is good. That's my boy. Rice is dope. Rice is good. We're talking about breakouts. I considered Rice already broken out. In them 3 games, I saw enough. I saw enough that he's already broken out. Like, those 3 games were pretty good. But okay, you want to put both of them in there? Both of them are going to score a lot of points. Which one's going to outscore? Great, yeah. You want me to say Worthy's going to outscore Rice? Fine.
It's up to you. I'm not holding your feet to the fire. I won't hold it against you. I think they're both going to be great. I just think Rice will be a little bit better.
We'll save that for our bold prediction show closer to the season. But let's get through camp some. Let's get through camp. But Xavier Worthy. So AFC West, Devon Vele, Xavier Worthy, Jacoby Myers, Omarion Hampton. Jay Rich, there was an article released that I wanted to get to today, but we are out of time. We'll talk about it on Wednesday. ESPN, right before we started, dropped top 10 running backs in the NFL. We'll just save the list for Wednesday. We'll just save it for Wednesday. We'll save it for Wednesday.
Is it a bad list?
Not really.
No?
Shout out to my dog Stanley. Stanley's in the chat. Said, Ray, I was in a DraftKings draft with you on Friday. I'm always drafting, man. I'm always doing something. Fantasy, NFL related. Appreciate y'all being here. For those of y'all who didn't catch it at the beginning, we got a lot of content dropping on the channel. A lot of 26 content dropping on the channel. If you didn't check out Lenora Sellers' summer scouting prospect video is up on DDFFB. We got the All Gas Trade Show. Free custom projections from Cody Smith on the channel as well. And then Jay Rich on the Dynasty Deal Show with Ty and Shane will drop tomorrow. Jay, anything you want to say to people before we get out of here today?
Nope. I hope everyone has a great week. We'll be talking NFC on Wednesday. And
NFC.
Right, I'm excited because Iceman season is here. And it's going to be glorious, let me tell you. And I will leave it at that.
What is that?
Well,
what is that?
You know.
What is Iceman season? What is it?
If you know, you know.
I don't know. What is it?
Well, it's all right. Just look up the Iceman. And I'm sure you'll be thoroughly impressed.
Appreciate y'all tapping in every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Subscribe to the podcast feed. Have a great Monday. Make July great. We out of this thing. Peace.